And this bleeds into other issues in society. By addressing this, we're also going to get into why women are becoming masculine. And we're also going to get into the fatherlessness, absent fathers, and what that does to a household. To put it briefly, a lot of single mothers want their sons to be gay. And when I say that, it's not necessarily always like the literal sexual orientation. Like sometimes they actually want them to have desires for men and to act on that. And other times it's just the appearance of a gay man, like wanting her son to be very feminine, and people assume that they're gay. Like women assume that they're gay, so they don't even try. And this stems from unforgiveness. This stems from revenge. These single moms, they had some kind of falling out or bad encounter with men, and obviously the man that impregnated them. So when they have a son, they take revenge on the whole male race by making him submissive and by making him effeminate and like a gay man. So you'll see this a lot in social media where some mothers, especially the single mothers, will praise their sons for not acting on their desires to date and be with a woman, for being very submissive towards women, and even praise them for not having desires for women. Will praise them for putting themselves in situations where they get taken advantage of by a woman. And this is because they don't want their men to grow up and form relations with women out of spite, out of jealousy, out of wanting to control the man. And they frame it as stopping another man from hurting another woman, but really they don't want their son to have love in their life. And it's rooted in bitterness towards some other men or man in their past, and now they take it out on their son. And so now this is how a lot of sons end up acting like their mother's best friend, or even acting like their pseudo husband. Like he's always there for her and always the shoulder she cries on. And she knows everything about his life. Like what type of woman does he like? What woman is he talking to? And really invasive on his sexual life. And so basically the son is no longer a man. He's not allowed to grow up to become a man. He has to be his mother's partner. And so this bleeds into another side to this issue, is women who are masculine. So in this day and age, we've noticed there's been a flip. Like men are becoming feminine, women are becoming masculine. And part of the problem or the cause of that is, once again, fatherlessness. So they're growing up in households where there is no father, where there's only the single mother. So these kids, whether it's a daughter or son, they don't know what a father is, what one looks like, what they're supposed to do. That role is effectively empty in their households. But just because it's empty doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Someone still has to fill it. So a lot of times that'll end up being the single mother. So she will become both the mother and the father at the same time. But that can't sustain itself because a woman can't be a father, a man can't be a mother. So they're filling that role, but in a like backwards, kind of perverse way, because that's not the natural order. And also, a single mom, a person can't handle both of those roles. A single mother can't handle being both a mother and a father at the same time, which is why we have two different sexes, so that they fulfill two different roles. So what ends up happening is that if it's a son, they end up being her emotional support because there is no father to fulfill that role. And then if there's a daughter, then she ends up filling that role as well by being in the form of emotional support and also picking up the physical labor and also managing the emotions in the household. So that's where you get the stoic, unemotional, aloof woman archetype, because instead of being able to have her emotions tended to and her femininity expressed and tended to, she had to forego that and subvert that in favor of holding the household together where the mother lacked or where the mother failed, by, in a way, filling that empty father role. So both the sons and the daughters end up being in this position where they have to fill that empty role and pick up the slack. But inevitably they can't. The mother can't, the son can't, the daughter can't. The only person that can fill that role is the father. And that's part of the reason why now you have so many men and women that don't know how to date and how to come together. Now, this isn't the sole reason. It's just one aspect of the issue. Because you have men going into the dating world, but guess what? They never had a father show them how to date or how to carry themselves as a man or how to be the man in a woman's life. He's always been like the pseudo boyfriend to his own mother. He's always been in a position where he was somewhat pampered. And, you know, the mother's role is to take care of the children. But when that's an excess, when there's nothing to balance it or to counter it, then it can result in the man being pampered because there's all this influx of feminine motherly energy or influence. And then likewise, you have women that don't know how to be a woman in a man's life. They don't know what their role is or what exactly they're supposed to fill because they've always been in a position where they had to subvert their own emotions, to forego their own femininity in order to maintain the balance in the family and in the household, in order to prevent chaos from the emotions just taking over. And they had to pick up the slack where the father left it. They also had to fulfill that role in their own way. So now they go into dating and they're like, wait, what? They have to be feminine? Like they have to be in touch with their emotions? Like they can actually take care of a man that they love, but they never had to do any of that. There was never a man in their household where they could express love and care towards. So now they're confused as well. In other words, The boy feels like being a man is bad, that being a man is intrusive, that being a man always results in women getting hurt, including the women closest to him and his family. So he rejects his masculinity in pursuit of femininity. Likewise, the daughter might feel like there's no room or respect for her femininity, especially if she's in an all-woman household or she's the firstborn daughter. She might find that whenever she wants to express her femininity or her emotions and needs, then it's turned down. Or she might feel like it's too much between hers and the mothers and any other woman in the household, that it's too much femininity and that somebody needs to step up and control and manage the situation and assume the masculine role. And sometimes it might even be out of a curiosity. When something's lacking, then you want to learn more about it and you want more of it. So the daughter ends up trying on masculinity, cosplaying as a boy or as a man until that becomes her whole identity. And so she rejects femininity in pursuit of masculinity. And sometimes the children find themselves in these roles, not always necessary because it was forced on them from the beginning, but because they see that their mother is struggling. They see when she comes home and she's stressed out or crying or she starts venting. They see what's missing, especially if there was a father at one time and then he just left. Then they can really see what's missing. And as children, they don't want to see their mother suffering. So they pick up that role, like start filling in ways that they can, which can seem good from the naive perspective. But then it starts to keep going on and on. It keeps going on. And the mother encourages it and allows it. And then before you know it, that just becomes the child's role, is to always fill that empty space. And even if sometimes the mother doesn't mean malice, but a lot of times, if you're living in a single parent's household, the children will have to pick up the slack in some ways. But even no matter what they do, it can never be natural because that role can only be fulfilled by one person. And so all their efforts, while it may be a Band-Aid solution, while it may fix problems in the short term, they're only damaging themselves because they're not able to live fully in their designated role as the son and as the daughter. And that becomes very apparent once they become adults and they start dating and navigating life on their own. And the number one issue in their lives is always dating and forming romantic and intimate relations with the opposite sex. Now, they may be able to get along with the opposite sex and understand them and the way they think and behave. Some of them, they might even get along more with the opposite sex than the same sex. However, when it becomes romantic or intimate, then that's where there's a roadblock, because romantic relationships require skills and things that should have been building from your formative years to adulthood. And these people, these sons and daughters, without a father, They don't have that. And subconsciously, a lot of the sons pick up on this, and they feel like they have to please their mother. Like they have to be the man that makes up for all the other men that she encountered before he was born. That he has to be the example, that he has to be proof that not all men are bad, that not all men are users, that they're not all sex driven. And so they fulfill that role by being her pseudo partner. And the girls, they subconsciously believe that they have to show that they can manage their emotions, that they aren't super emotional and needy and have all these complex emotions and breakdowns like their mother. And especially in this era of the whole female empowerment and the media trying to make women like men, this could be seen as a badge of honor for the daughter, for her to think, whether subconsciously or consciously, that she can rise to the role of the father, that she can take the role of a man and do even better than he could have. This is just one aspect of the dating issue in this era in the Western world and complex family dynamics. Drop your comments below if you've experienced this or if you are currently experiencing this, or if you have a differing opinion on what causes all of this. This is part of a broader project that will delve into how the media and society is trying to mess up the nuclear family and effectively destroy dating and families and reproduction. So thanks for joining. Stay tuned for the next one.